A big pat on the back today, Greg, from the American Legislative Exchange Council, someone you know well. You worked with them when you were in the Utah legislature. But every year they rate the states, various states, and their freedom of choice options when it comes to schools. This year, Utah came in 7th place. Very, very nice,
very
right?
Nice.
Well, joining us on our Newsmaker line to talk more about that is Andrew Handel, Director of Education and Workforce Development Task Force there at the American Legislative Exchange Council. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Talk about Utah. It looks like we did pretty well when it comes to school choice, and the report card that you issue every year. What did it say?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first, it's great to be back on the show. Thanks for inviting me. But yeah, this is the third edition of the American Legislative Exchange Council's Index of State Education Freedom. So we were able to get this report launched this week, right ahead of National School Choice Week next week. And as you mentioned, Utah did very, very well, scored an A- for its overall school choice environment, and ranked 7th overall amongst the 50 states, and that's up from 8th overall last year. And so I think that's a testament to Utah policymakers, the governor, the legislature, who have really made this a priority over the years, not just making sure that funding follows students, but making sure that all learning environments are accessible to families.
Andrew, one of the interesting aspects, it used to always be just fighting to give the parents and the students and their families backpack funding or choice. But administering programs like this, a scholarship program, a tax credit, whatever a state may choose to do by way of school choice, how is the implementation of these programs rolling out state by state? There has to be some kinks it's kind of a new process. It's outside of the state school board system. Give us an idea of how successful or what are the challenges as we're seeing more school choice in America.
Yeah, and that's a phenomenal question. I think implementation of these programs is something that's, more and more policymakers especially are paying attention to. But, I think, what's great is that we have these 50 laboratories of democracy. And so we have 17 states right now that have created a universal school choice program, Utah being one of them with the Utah Fits All Scholarship. And they've all kind of done it, a little bit differently. We've seen some states that have really tried to open it up. We've seen states try, debit cards for these programs. We've seen some states that have used more restricted marketplaces. I know some states like Iowa, they have approved providers who get access to an online marketplace, and then parents can go on there and they can, purchase whatever school supplies or things they need, and they have the comfort of knowing that everything in there is already pre-approved by the state. So, we've seen a couple of different approaches. I think we're going to see those continue depending on which state it is. Bigger states obviously have more challenges implementing these programs than smaller states. But yeah, we've seen a number of different approaches, and definitely working the kinks out as we go.
Andrew, as I look at this list, I see a lot of red states near the top of the list, but not too many blue states. Surprise, surprise. Are any blue states making progress in this regard?
Not really.
You tried. You tried to put a good spin on it. I know.
Yeah. No. The thing that jumps into my head is, we've actually got this great new federal tax credit scholarship program that was in the One Big Beautiful Bill. And I'll use that as an opportunity to highlight some of the blue states, because I know that North Carolina's Democrat governor, Josh Stein, has at least said he plans to opt North Carolina into that program. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully some other blue states can hop on that as well.
Colorado.
I think that's a really good opportunity.
I think Governor Polis in Colorado is opted in. So
that's right.
Yeah. So that's
right. That's right.
So
that's
a
right
good
there.
one. Yeah. Because he's not conservative remotely, but that's nice to see. I guess my question, I didn't ask it, but so with Governor Polis in Colorado, it's a blue state and he's a blue governor, but you're seeing that he's opting in, and I think that's leadership. You're talking about the North Carolina Democrat governor, but so is there a tide there even on the federal one? I know it's not as robust as how these states are coming up with their school choice programs, but do you see some light at the end of the tunnel with some of these blue states or blue governors?
Yeah, I do. And it's interesting. There's a lot of really good polling that's out there that shows when it comes to school choice that this is really not a partisan issue. I mean, this is something that Republicans, Democrats, Independents, they all support it. And I think even in these blue states, you're seeing the politicians start to recognize that. And they're starting to realize that hey, look, this is just about understanding that no one school is ever going to be the best fit for every single kid. One kid might learn best in a virtual school, and another kid might learn best in a private school. Another kid might learn best in their public school. The point is to make sure that all of these options are available and put parents in the driver's seat. Trust them to make the best decision for their kids, because ultimately they're the ones that are best positioned to do that.
Andrew, a final question for you. What factors go into this ranking? I mean, what do you look at each state, and what factors go into the result?
Yeah. So we look at 5 categories. So the first is student-centered funding. So that's where the Utah Fits All Scholarship Program is graded. We also look at charter schools, home schools, virtual schools, and open enrollment, which is your public school choice. And Utah does really well in all those categories. Believe it or not, actually, the student-centered funding program is where Utah scores the worst, getting a C, which might be a little surprising. The reason for that is because while the Utah Fits All Scholarship is open to all students, it is capped by a legislative appropriation. And so really only 2% of students in the state can actually use it year over year. So, that's something we'd love to see that cap removed, and that would definitely help the state move even further up the rankings.
And Andrew, thank you very much for joining us tonight.